Hi, thanks for joining me on Wilderness with Amani. I just finished fishing the Yuba River for Wilderness with Amani on Patreon. It was very fun. If you want to get in on that action, there's a link on my channel homepage to my Patreon. I put a new video every week on there. But I'm on my way home, and I figured I'd stop and check out Prosser Creek. And I think I fished here for like a half hour once coming home, but I've never really fished it. And I'm gonna start right at the bridge where the road is. That's where I always start because I don't know where else to go. Let's just go down, let's start making some casts, see if we can't catch some fish. I'm using single barbless only. I'm using 1/8 ounce marabou jigs. The water's moving really fast and it's shallow, so I'm gonna be fishing quick. There ain't gonna be none of that fancy deep water bouncing it across the bottom, I don't think, but I don't know, there could be big pools. I have no idea. I've only seen the river from the bridge, so I mean, you can't really judge a river by where the road passes it and say, oh, that's all it's got to offer. So let's go down and actually see what's going on. We're going barbless, catch and release only. That's the way I like to fish rivers. Keeps more big fish in rivers. Let's go check it out. I was looking down from the bridge and it looked like you could fish really open on the other side and it's rocks. But on this side it was bushes and flatter. So I don't know if I picked the right thing. If I went wrong, I'd just go up and walk across the bridge. There's a wide shoulder on the bridge. So like I said, this is gonna be some fast, shallow fishing. It's gonna get it over there, jig it across, and see if we can't pick up something. I don't know much about this Prosser Creek. I know I fish in the reservoir and catch fish, and I just don't know if there's big fish in here or what the deal is, but you gotta try to know. So maybe I'll know more after I actually fish. I'm guessing this will have browns, Lahontans, and rainbows. It's not very big, but doesn't mean it can't have nice fish. It's big enough. Standing on this log jam, and I think I just saw a brown come out after my jig. I'm not sure. I don't know how I'm gonna land it, but it wasn't that big, so it shouldn't be that much of an issue. If he does hit, there he is. Oh, I saw him. I saw him. He showed himself. He's down there. There he is. There he is. I think it's a Lahontan. I think it's a nice Lahontan. Beautiful fish. Okay, he's trying to swim back up under this tree. Out of that tree, Lahontan. There he is in the net. I'm letting him rest. I really like to let these fish rest a bit. And I swung my jig around the front of this log jam and nothing came out. And then I stood on those sticks over there and cast on the other side, saw him show himself, and you could really see their colors. He's so colorful. I'll show them to you. All right, let me get my hands wet. Here it is. It's a beautiful Lahontan cutty. Nice. You can see his orange gill slits. Beautiful fish. Get him back in the water. There he goes, back into his stream. So we know there's Lahontan cutthroat in here. So whether it was a good idea or not, I walked out on this clump of sticks. You never really know how solid it is until you get out onto it. And I usually like to fish bouncing it deep from upstream, casting downstream to upstream, but I can't do that with all these branches around. Man, the mosquito situation is off the charts here. I was fishing the Yuba River all morning and I wasn't really having much trouble with any. I haven't fished for Lahontans much, but now they're planting them in a lot of places, so there's more of them. And I have learned that they like cover like this, but to get them, you got to make the cast. That was a really good cast. and no fish came out after it. It was sometimes a good cast isn't enough. You know, throw a ring in your backyard and just practice doing soft toss casting so that you can try to get your presentation under some of this brush like that, because they'll come out. But if you don't get close enough, they're gonna give you the finger is what they're gonna give you. In a little spot like that, if something doesn't come out right away, it isn't gonna come like the third or fourth cast. You might as well just keep moving. God, too bad I didn't have my camera running for that last cast. I could have demonstrated how to throw my jig right into a branch. I tried to get it up into the whitewater, and there's a branch right there. And I threw it right over it, and luckily it just came right off. But that was not exactly a example of fine fishing. It's more like this was my first time fishing ever. That's what it looked like. All right, the hour is late. I gotta head back towards that bridge. This is just a quick probe. This is kind of like when they send out a probe to look at Mars, you know, to see if we want to land there. First you send the probe, then you see if you want to land. Dude, riding his bike up there just sneezed really loud. And I was like, what kind of animal is that? Freaked me out for a second. When you're fishing fast, shallow stuff like this, you have to cast, and I shut my bail with my hand manually before my jig even hits the water. If your bail is still open when your jig hits the water, you are already snagged and you don't even know it. Those spots where you really got to get it inches like that. I'm glad I was able to get that cast in, because my first cast was like 3 feet away from that trunk. 3 feet ain't gonna catch you nothing. Absolutely nothing, trust me. You gotta get it in there. I'm not Spider-Man, so this is the end of the line right here. I'm gonna have to go up and over the top. I'll see what it looks like down there. I've already fished all day. I don't know how much Prosser Creek enthusiasm I have in me. Awesome. There's a mountain bike trail that goes along the river. So that's a lot easier than the leg snapping stuff I was crawling around all morning. One nice thing about always carrying a water filter in your pack, you never run out of water as long as you got a puddle. Oh, that's good. Someone ought to bottle this stuff. Threw it up to that bush, and a Lahontan came right after it. Oh, I threw it over a branch. Darn it. I got it back, though. There's a branch hanging right over the water where I need to go. So I'm going to try to go short on the back side of it. Oh, I casted short, man. I casted short. Short's not going to get it done here. You have to have precision. And when I had that Lahontan follow it, I threw it right in there like that. And these fish are holding tight to cover. I'm going to skip the bobber and the nymph, though. I got to keep moving. Whenever I go somewhere new, my goal is to see as much river as possible. I didn't get a fish in this spot, man. With the water spilling in under this log. I mean, this is like showing up at In-N-Out and they're saying, oh, we don't have any burgers. That's how much I expected there to be trout here. As much as I expected there to be burgers at In-N-Out. I think I'm looking at Prosser Creek Reservoir right there. I think that means I'm about done. I'll go look around over there and see, but I think I'm done. Good Lahontan. I changed my tactic. I put on a Gets It, because I'm not 100% sure about the regs here, so I'm not using anything with scent. But I put on a marabou jig. He didn't get it, and then I put on a Gets It, and I'll show you. It's an 1/8 ounce Gets It jig, and it's got a rubber thing on it. Got him. That's a nice Lahontan right there. And he was hanging out under that bush. I saw him, man. Look at him. Look at him rest all up. I like to rest him up in the net. He's in the current. He's nice and strong. Look at that. Let's take a quick look at him and let's get him back in the water, and then I'm probably gonna call it a day soon. There he goes. He's got all kinds of fin damage on his dorsal fin, but look at him in that afternoon light. That is beautiful, man. That is a beautiful Lahontan cutty. So I put the marabou jig out there. This is a Giza jig. It has no scent, so it's good in special regulation waters. And it's got an 1/8 ounce lead head on it and a little rubber body. And I haven't really done well with it. In fact, I up until today, I thought it sucked, but I used it over in the Yuba River and I whacked a couple nice rainbows on it. So I was like, all right, maybe I'll give the old Gitsit a second look. Maybe the Gitsit doesn't suck as bad as I thought. Some eggs, birds' eggs in the mud. I don't know. There's something, they look like they're kind of abandoned. I can't believe a raccoon or something hasn't scored those things yet. The big just jumped over those bushes, but man, those bushes are just right in the way. There's nothing you can do to get a cast over that. This is pretty much the end of the line. The main channel's out there, and I ain't got what it takes to get out there, so I think it's time to go home. Well, that was a fun exploration, and let me tell you something. If you don't got a lot of trout fishing experience in small creeks, this is not an easy place to fish. Every fish was like under a bush or really tight to cover, and it wasn't a situation where like I struggled. My casting sucked because I was doing long casting at the Yuba all day and I was doing pretty good. I got down here where it's just flicking it over the top, and I was lucky I got that last nice one. It was a bummer his dorsal fin was like chewed off. Something took a chunk out of that fish. But that was beautiful, beautiful red colors. You know, when they come out and they strike, you see the big red flash. And the Lahontan cutthroat are cool. I love that they're planting them everywhere now. You know, that's the indigenous fish. The Lahontan cutthroat used to be the apex predator in Lake Tahoe when it used to be like a larger inland sea almost. And I guess there were probably just giant ones in there. But they're bringing it back. They're putting them in the creeks. You know, I'm catching them in some of the tributaries, and it's all good. But the snow's melting. I'm going to start hitting the backcountry soon. I'm getting my flies. Ordered a bunch of flies. Going to be doing a lot of fly fishing. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, hope you enjoyed this first little probing of Prosser Creek. Got a couple nice Lahontans, but they did not come easy. I was almost expecting just to get skunked. Thanks for joining me on Wilderness with Amani. Until next time.